Okay.
All right. Hi, everybody. It's Lisa Shield here, and I am so excited to have the fabulous Kate Dorsey with me today. Hi, Kate.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm really thrilled that we get to connect again and do this.
Yeah, we had such a great conversation, and I was so excited by our talk, even though we got, I think, cut off about five times during
Yeah.
the.
Yeah. It started like a little late, but that's life, right? Things always happen.
That is life. So I just wanted to bring you on and introduce you to my group and, talk a little bit about the masterclass that you're doing. So why don't you tell everybody first who you are and a little bit about what you do?
So, my name's Kate Dorsey. I am a therapist turned life coach, and my business is Thrive Coaching Inc. And I work with clients to help them transform their mindset so that they can really step into living a life that they absolutely love. So often we're telling ourselves stories that hold us back from having everything that we want and desire. And I believe that if you can uncover those stories, you can really start to play full out, be really real, and live on purpose as well.
Awesome. And so we had a great talk. Tell everybody what the masterclass is about, because I think this is such a great the topic.
Yes. So the masterclass is called Live Your Bliss Masterclass, How to Be Fiercely You, Play Full Out, and Be Unstoppable as You Create Your Happiest Life. I brought together a group of experts in health and wellness, love, like Lisa, and business and purpose, because I really think that we need to take a look at all life areas. Because when we talk about living a happy, blissful life, it means where are we measuring up short? Where are the places where we're not necessarily being who we really are? And how might we be holding ourselves back? And once we get clear on that, we can really begin to transform our life.
Awesome. And so can you, besides me, who
Yeah.
I know is like your best,
Yes.
your absolute best conversation,
Yes.
besides me, who else, like who stood out to you? Were there some people that you would really say were just amazing, like ones that everybody should catch?
Yes. I really enjoyed Dr. Andrea Pennington.
Mm-hmm.
She's fantastic. I really loved Simran Singh.
Mm-hmm. Can you talk a little bit about like why they stood out?
So Dr. Andrea Pennington talked a lot about compassion, and I really loved how bringing love to ourselves and owning the parts of ourselves that we often frequently reject. Because a lot of us have this idea of like, well, I've got to be perfect and I can only show people the good. But the truth is that when we own the parts of us that we're like, oh, I hate that about myself. And when we bring love to that and we show up in being really real, those are the things that people connect to us over. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not I'm so put together and I'm perfect. It's really like, yeah, I get stubborn. And it's okay that I get stubborn. So I just really loved her approach with like how to bring compassion. Simran Singh really brought spirituality in, and I loved her take on it. We are experiencing ourselves. A lot of like really mind-blowing moments in my conversation with her. Just so much about like, who are you? What are you doing? And like, how can you have everything that you really want? Because you really are an aspect of God, which I just thought was so interesting, and starting to see that like, that's a fundamental component in like really loving your life. I liked, I had a fellow love coach, Macy Matarazzo, and I loved her input on being uniquely you. So
Mm-hmm.
really like she talked about unicorn love, that love that we all dream about, that just that we don't even necessarily think is real, but that it is real and that it's so possible. And so I thought that was a fantastic one. Nada Howarth talked a lot about contrast. So the things in our life that we feel we're really struggling with and we dislike, but how that's ultimately really important for us because it creates these pivotal moments in our lives where it's like, it feels like things are falling apart, but really things are going to come together because there's contrast being provided through that. So like every time you experience something you dislike, you know what you don't want, which means you know what you do want. And that's just like such a mindset
Yeah.
tweak that it's like, wait a minute, this is actually good. Even though this isn't working out how I want it to work out, this is a moment where I'm so crystal clear on what I want. And clarity is so essential to creating what you want.
Yeah.
I also loved Ani Anderson and Shauna Pelton. Both of them talked about mindset, so changing how you think, and looking at what are the limiting beliefs, how are they operating in your life. Because the truth is, in any area, if you don't have what you want, you have a limiting belief operating. And that means there's some story that you're telling yourself there. And that's why the things that you want and desire are not showing up for you. And we know, like, a lot of folks have that within relationships. Yeah, because you ended up talking a whole lot about that, about like, well, fundamentally, like, so many people want and desire love. And yet this is an area where people have like a number one problem.
Right.
And so they dived into like, what are we telling ourselves and how do we clear that out? And Ani's approach is pretty unique because she uses the body, and she calls it sensation-based mindset. And so it's really looking at your body is giving you messages all the time. And instead of saying like getting frustrated and feeling like this breakdown is a problem, no, there's something that your body is trying to tell you, that we are so much wiser than we realize. And that's how she gets at understanding limiting beliefs.
Well, what I love is just listening to you talk is that you had a lot of unique people on here that I've not heard of before. You know, it doesn't mean that I know of all the coaches that are out there, but I know that there are really quite a few, summits or master classes that people are doing. And it's really important to have a great collection of people that you're not hearing everywhere, right? Like we hear all the big ones, and it's nice to have a few names here and there of some of the top coaches, but it's also wonderful to get all of these other people on board that you haven't heard from or that aren't as exposed, right?
Yeah, because then they're really unique conversations. Like we've all been on different summits and we've all heard different folks talk. And like, honestly, every time you go on a summit, you're really getting some unique viewpoints. But when you're hearing from folks that you haven't heard a lot from, it's really interesting because you're like, wait, who is this? And what are they saying? So it was a really fantastic experience. And I did have health and wellness experts on too. So Dr. Deanna Minnick and Angela Atkins were two of them, and they really stood out. Because really, ultimately, like when you don't feel good in your body, you have a lot of problems. Like, and it's important to look at like what are you putting into your body and how does that make you feel? And like, what are the small tweaks and changes you can make so that you feel really good?
Nice. And so tell me about you, and you turned from a therapist to a coach.
Yeah. So,
tell me about that. That's quite a switch.
It is. Therapy in my mind is, there's a lot of brokenness in it. And what I mean by that is therapy is not broken, but that it seems to draw folks that really struggle and feel like, well, there's got to be something wrong with me. Why can't I have what I want? If I could just fix it. And it's like, and they often get like so locked into depression or anxiety. And I really believe that our answers are within us and that we are capable of healing and of changing our lives. And that is a coaching perspective. So I decided to make the leap from therapy, which is this model of like, come in once a week. Nobody lays down on a couch anymore. Like, if you did, we haven't done that since like the 50s. But nobody like really does that anymore. But it's this model of like, oh, just come in and you're going to be working with me for years. And the changes that you're going to make are so small and so incremental that you're just going to have to work with me for like 10 years before you're ever going to have a positive life. And I don't know about you, Lisa, but like, no, like when I know something's not right, I want to like dig in, do the work and get to the place where I feel really great and fantastic in life. And so when I learned about coaching several years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, I had already moved into solution-based therapy, which is really a much shorter term, quicker turnaround. It's what's the problem? Let's get in, let's take some actionable steps and let's change your life. And I've been doing that approach for years, came across coaching and was like, this is literally perfect. I was one of those people that they were like, oh, you should have been a coach. And I'm like, yes, I should have. Like, but I went to school. That would have been a lot better. Like for years, like I remember my training program, they were like, you have to stop being so expressive. And I was like, I can't. Like, I have one of those faces that's just like, I know how I feel. And like a therapist, you're like a blank screen, but like, you're not a blank screen, you're a person. And like, those are like the things that people connect with you on too. It like makes you human. And so I just came across coaching and was like, wow, this is such a different mindset and such a different approach, and just one that I really love.
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm with you. I think by the time I was training to become a coach, I had decided I was past my own personal need for therapy, and I don't think I would have had the patience to sit there and like listen to people unravel something. And, you know, I just don't have the patience for that. So
week after week. Week after week, pulling the smallest thread. Yeah. No, I don't either, because I don't know about you, but I like fast results.
Yeah. Yeah. And right? I always felt it for a long time, I felt as a coach, like, am I not digging in deep enough because people aren't with me for these huge, long periods of time, you know? But I think if you're a really great coach, people shouldn't be with you that long. They should be getting in, getting out, and getting on with it, right? Like living their life. And that's what I love about it. So
that's what I love about it too, because it's not this like really long drawn out process of years and years, because we want results. We want to feel better. I'm not seeing you because we're good friends, you know, like I'm seeing you because I need you to get me somewhere that I am not. I'm seeing you because you're outside of me. And if I could fix this, I would have fixed this. But I can't see it. So I need you to mirror that back to me so I can fix it. The one cool thing about being trained as a therapist is that I can cover the past. So a lot of the things that we don't realize are actually rooted in like significant memories. So generally speaking, a lot of those limiting beliefs that are formed are rooted in a memory from the past. Right. And it's like I'll share one of my old ones that I've done a lot of work around. But I had this memory of my mother on a couch. And I realized I formed a limiting belief then and there that I couldn't be me and be loved. And that was a significant one that required a lot of work. But it's just these interesting, like I can see her sitting on the couch. And like it's those moments that you're like, oh, that's where that limiting belief is like rooted. And then it's just a matter of like, okay, so now I know this. And like, does that story come up? And whenever it comes up, what am I telling myself? And like, you can shorten how long, like I can catch it in the moment, which is really cool. Cause I can be like, oh, you're doing that thing where you sometimes pull back and it's completely rooted in that old belief that is actually completely false, you know? So, and like, that's just really important to realize that it's like, it's these split second memories that are usually like these massive pain points in our lives.
That's interesting. Yeah. I think it's important to have both pieces. I mean, they're both valuable. And I don't think most people can really move forward completely in their life without doing some therapy, you know, to really make sense of the past. I just would love to see, I don't know, more, just a shorter time frame for that, and therapists who cut the cord quicker and and are more expedient about just getting in there and working through that stuff. I'd like, I think a faster process would be better, even in terms of therapy.
I completely agree with you. Oh yeah, no, I was just saying I completely agree with you. It should be faster. It shouldn't be this like really long drawn out process. It should be about getting them results. And if you're not getting results on something that you're working on, what's happened? Like, let's take a look at that. Like, why are you holding yourself back? Why are you not experiencing change here? Is there fear operating? Are you not doing the work that we've talked about doing? Are you not catching the story that you're telling yourself? And like, how can you gain more awareness of that? So I completely agree with like.
Hi, Erica. Great to see you, honey. Sorry. Just yeah. So I think that's amazing. I love talking to a therapist about this, because there's kind of a way of that you should, I always feel like I can't say that to a therapist, and I'm sure more and more therapists are feeling the way you feel as coaching is really gaining momentum. And, there's now a real desire for people who want quick results and they don't want to mess around. And, I think in the early days, Kate, therapists really did have the knowledge. They knew certain things that the public at large didn't know. But now so much of that information is just out, in the vernacular. It's out there. We don't need a therapist to sit there and diagnose us or pretend, we have that barrier, right? It's like that wall between us and them. It's a very different world today.
It's so different. This also makes me think of medical practitioners. Like, we all have WebMD. And so it's kind of similar to therapy this way. Like, we've got all this information out there. Like, I don't need you to tell me what I'm pretty sure I have. It's about this relationship that we build so that we can start to make changes. Like, you can easily, these day and age, like, it's really easy to go find cognitive behavioral therapy or acceptance commitment therapy worksheets online. You can find anything online. It's crazy. It's like, they're not seeing you to like go do a worksheet or to take this like really long drawn out process. They're seeing you because they want to make change fast. They want to get from where they are to where they want to be. And it's completely possible. And it's really just a matter of like, so what's the gap? What's in here and how can we change this?
I agree. I'm getting an echo now. Interesting. So you've been a therapist / coach for a long time. When did you stop the therapy and when did you start coaching officially?
I actually still do have some therapy clients, just some folks that I had been referred to me because I've been practicing for like over 10 years. So sometimes I'll still get some therapy clients. And the coaching really started about a year ago. I just was slow to transition because I was still working at the College of Charleston. And now, it's awesome to work in a college counseling center because like that's just like talk about like the start of life. And like, obviously like we've all been alive for a while before we get to college, but it's just this like total, like, what are you going to do with your life? Like the 20s really are incredibly foundational years. And it's like the decisions and choices you do make are really important because they build the framework for the rest of your life. That's not to say you can't make changes later on. You can always make changes, but like those years are really important.
Wow. So you talk about creating an amazing life or a bliss-filled life. Tell me about your bliss-filled life.
Well, I am actually getting ready to move to California, like in a week. So,
really? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
So currently, my bliss-filled life involves stepping over a lot of items. Thank goodness for those vacuum-sealed bags. I'm really excited about this. This is completely new. I have never done anything this big before because I'm moving to San Diego, and I actually don't know anyone there. But I have a plan. My plan is to tell people I'm new, so I'm sure I'll make friends, and to sign up for some things. So like I just recently did improv and absolutely loved it. And so I plan to go, they have like a couple of different improv classes out there. So I'll go to that, maybe go back and play kickball like I used to. Although last time I did that, I broke my hand. So fingers crossed that doesn't happen. So yeah, my life is full of adventure. I have an incredible group of friends, a really loving family, and I'm getting ready to bite the bullet and drive across the country, which I'm really excited about.
Why San Diego?
I love it out there. It's the perfect combination of mountains and ocean, and it's just so like breathtakingly beautiful. And I live in Charleston, South Carolina right now. It's very humid.
Yeah.
Will not miss that. But I live in a beautiful place right now. It's gorgeous. I've got amazing friends here, and I just decided to go for it. Sometimes you feel like that your heart pulling you somewhere, and part of the blissful life is being able to take the risks, is being able to say, I want this, and now I'm going to have this.
So tell me, if you could give our viewers like a tip of your, a couple of tips of your own about living their bliss-filled life, what would Kate say about that?
I would say to be aware of the thoughts that you're thinking. So in any moment, your emotions are your emotions are your biggest guides. So if you're not feeling happy, what is it that you're telling yourself? So first off, the very first question is, how do I feel? And then if it's anything less than happy, what are you telling yourself? in each moment. And it's reaching for thoughts that help you to feel better. So is there a different way to view this? Is there a different story to tell yourselves? Because we're always telling ourselves stories about things. It's like the last time you were stuck in the grocery line, did you take that as an opportunity to like just be present and be in the moment? Maybe even catch up on some phone messages? Or were you frustrated thinking like, why is this line so long? I've got somewhere to be. And so it's any time that you're not feeling good, you need to be really aware of what are you telling yourself, because you need to change what you're telling yourself. So that's like that's a huge strategy I use. It's just my emotions are my guides. So like they're like a little GPS system. If I'm not feeling good, what am I telling myself, and how can I change what I'm telling myself?
Beautiful.
So like it builds. Like we all know, like when we're feeling really good, we often think really positive thoughts, and like we're like, oh, I'm excited for this, I'm thrilled for this, and it's just realizing that like it takes time to build in the direction of living your bliss. Like if you're not happy and you haven't been happy for a while, it's going to be a slow build, like climbing up a ladder. But if you are already happy, then it's like just turning the volume up ever so slightly by like, what would make me happier and how can I get that?
What I also hear you saying is paying attention, really, that being mindful and present and paying attention to your emotions, so that and really being keyed into them. And if you feel yourself going down, there's that moment where you can just switch that thought in an instant. I don't think people realize how much power we have over that, and how we can do that. As you master that, you can actually become a master of catching an emotion and switching it.
Yeah. And like ultimately, like emotions are like 90 seconds. They're just real quick in the body. Anything above that is a mood. And Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about this. You're choosing that. Whether or not you realize it, you are choosing the mood that you're in, and you are telling yourself things over and over that are keeping you there. So if you want to change it, it's getting real clear on like, what am I telling myself? And like what Nada Howard, who I brought up earlier, talked about was that contrast is really important. So instead of in that moment when you're feeling really badly, to start to realize that this is an empowering moment. There is something here for me to realize and for me to work with. So if I'm upset about something, not only do I need to change what I'm thinking, but maybe I just got real crystal clear on what I want.
I like that. I like that little next step. What I was just thinking is I had my computer, like literally brand new computer, right? Brand new, top of the line. Right, Mac, freeze up on me twice, and I lost all of the changes that I had made to a script I was working on for a webinar. I was devastated. I found out that Apple no longer autosaves, not Apple, Word no longer autosaves as you go along. Like it used to autosave every 10 minutes, now it doesn't, right? And so my script, I had the old script, but all of these changes I had made, because I hadn't actually physically saved it and I was just working in the document, were gone. So I found out, like I brought the document up and I was like, WTF, I can't believe this is happening. My mind just started to go, and then I stopped myself and I said, okay, Lisa, this is done. There is nothing you can do to change what's happened. You can go down that road. You can spiral into that. It's going to be a couple of days and you're going to stomp around and feel crummy and, or you can make a choice right here, right now to switch it. And I just sat back and I said, okay, I'm going to make it better.
Right? Like that's such a perfect example, because it's like, you have a choice. You have a choice. And how do you want to feel? You can choose to wallow and days can go by and you can feel miserable and unhappy and frustrated because all of that work was lost. Or, all right, maybe I'm going to make this even better than it was.
Yep. And I knew in that moment that I just stopped and I said, Lisa, you can go down that road. You know where that road leads. If you need to go there, then fine. Go there. Hey, Maggie, good to see you, honey. I was like, you can do that. but I was like, why? I know what's going to happen. I'm going to lose more time. Like I already lost time because I lost the document, right? But I'm just going to lose more time if I go there. But what really got me, Kate, was just how easily I could make that switch. Mm-hmm. I couldn't even imagine that I could just catch it, and I could so easily say to myself, how can I change that story? I don't want to suffer any more than I already have.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. And like you really emphasize how powerful choices are. And what do you want to feel? Because you can go down that rabbit hole and you're going to feel terrible, or I'm going to feel better because I'm consciously making this decision and choice. And the truth is, Lisa, we all have that choice in every single moment. Every moment. So if you're not happy, what are you telling yourself? And how long do you want to hang out in that yucky feeling? Like if you want to hang out there, you go right ahead. Set up, little tea party for one with pity. But like, please understand you're making that choice. You're making the choice to remain miserable and unhappy. And you can choose differently. You really can.
But it was so great. I think what just like was so mind blowing. And of course I've been there before, right? But I think it was just this moment of, oh my God, it's so easy. Like I can change it like that. And it felt so powerful.
Because it is.
I felt like I was walking around that day and I was like, I got my magic wand. I can keep changing this.
So true. But that's so true. Because like it is empowering. You do feel powerful and you realize like you have so much more control over how you feel than you think you do. So
Maggie just said no mental real estate time having pity party.
Yes. No, don't set up shop there. You'll be so unhappy. It's not even a nice pity party. Like it's missing biscuits or something. I don't know.
Yeah, okay. I love this. Success is just the next decision away.
Yeah.
Perfect. That is so cool. Yeah. I love what you're saying, Kate. I think that is so powerful. And I know people are going to really, really love your summit, your masterclass. So, yeah. Anything else you want to add before we go, or
it starts tomorrow. Yeah. Well, the summit starts tomorrow, so you can still sign up. You can sign up at any point. It is www.liveyourblissmasterclass.com. So please sign up. You get to see Lisa and all sorts of other amazing experts on there. And then if you're interested in what I do, you can check out for more information about me at thrivecoachinginc.com.
I just want to say, go ahead, honey. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been awesome to connect with you again.
Yeah, and I just wanted to say that I was so excited about having Kate on, and I may have said this at the beginning. I know I put it in the write-up. I am so much about just authenticity and working with people who are, walk the talk and really live what they talk about. And for me, there are so many coaches who are just really not, they don't have that through line, that integrity, of really putting what they talk about into practice in their real lives. And Kate is absolutely one of those people who walks the talk and is really living it. I mean, just up and moving to San Diego. It's insane. How old are you, Kate? Do you mind if I ask?
38.
So you're making that change at 38. That's awesome.
Right. Midlife, essentially, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And starting, becoming a coach a year ago, and just, I can see that, and she's just real. She's a love, and she's easy to talk to. And so if anybody is looking for coaching in, this area of their lives, she'd be a great person to talk to about that. So I send you my love, and I thank everybody who jumped on and was listening to us. I see Carla there, who is one of my loves. Carla congratulations, Carla, on your marriage. I hope that you're doing great and that you're still, that you're still happy, that you and Lloyd are thrilled and happy. It's great to see you here. And it's just great to do this. So, Kate, I look forward. I hope it's a huge success, the summit. Check out yeah, check out Kate's Summit, what is it called? How to Live a Blissful Life?
Blissmasterclass.com. So
okay, great.
you can go straight there, sign up, and it starts tomorrow. They'll get emails each day. And it's May 22nd through June 11th. And thank you so much. It's been awesome to reconnect with you. And congratulations to Carla, too. That sounds amazing.
Yeah. She just got married. I was at her wedding. Awesome. At the end of last year. She was so beautiful.
I love that.
Person. Yeah, she married you think that Prince Harry looked at his bride.
Oh my God, that was so sweet.
You should see the way Lloyd looks at Carla. Oh my God.
I love that.
It's breathtaking. Yeah. So lots of love. Yeah, lots of love to you, Carla. All right, Kate, let's stay in touch when you're in San Diego, okay?
Yes.
All right. Safe travel.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye, everybody.